Hello everybody. So in last class we have discussed regarding construction management, that is introduction part, and construction management or project formulation concept we have discussed in detail. Okay. So in continuation with that, in today's class we are going to concentrate on the third bit of this first module, that is construction planning and scheduling. Okay. Here first we need to understand the parameters called construction planning and scheduling. There are two basic objectives are there here. Okay. The first one stands for construction planning. I think in last class we have discussed it regarding construction in separate aspects and planning in separate aspects. Okay. So construction is nothing but it's a activity. Construction of structure, construction of infrastructure, something, all the structures comes under execution part, that is called construction, I can say. Okay. Then planning we have discussed in detail in separate way, that is what is the planning process takes place, how the work will going to execute, how the works are going to carried out further, that is nothing but planning, I can say. Okay. So what is meant by construction planning now? Okay, that part we are going to discuss in detail, and it is and their relevancy towards the management we are going to discuss in detail. In continuation with that, we are going to discuss something about scheduling. What is meant by scheduling? Then what are the different types of schedules are there? Then how the schedulings are going to done with respect to their nature of work? That part we are going to discuss in detail in our present class or today's class. Okay. So coming to the construction planning now. So as the name itself says, of course planning we are already well versed with that. So planning is nothing but it's a process which in turn consists of some activity starts from one particular stage and it will of course end up with some other stage. That entire process, if we are going to that concept is conceptualized at its initial stage before going to execute, that process we can call it as usually planning. But what is meant by construction planning or planning in construction? That is very, very important. Okay, because once again we are going to end up the entire things with respect to civil engineering, I can say, because in that civil engineering we are going to come across some construction activities. That's why what is the role of planning in construction, or simply we can take it as construction planning. Okay. So of course planning in construction will play a major role, because for example if you want to travel from one point to another point, we are going to plan the things. Conceptually we are going to plan the things. Yes or no? What route I need to prefer, so what should be the mode of transportation I need to prefer, or for example if you want to write some exams or if you want to appear some examinations, once again we are going to have the plannings in our minds. Yes or no? What about the syllabus we need to cover, what are all the textbooks I need to work out or refer, so what about the previous question papers I need to refer, everything we are going to plan in detail. That is nothing but a planning process, I can say. Yes or no? In our day-to-day activities, this planning will play a major role. But now here we are going to understand what is the necessity of this planning in construction activities. Of course, because construction activity is a huge task, I can say, because which will in turn consist of wide range of activities. Some activities are dependent with each other, some activities are independent with each other. At the time of if we have a dependent activities in a construction technology or construction management process, then we need to, being a manager, we need to think about those dependent objects also, whether it will going to give some adverse effects for our construction activities or not. That entire part we are going to discuss in detail before going to execute that particular structure. That's why construction planning will play a major role in day-to-day activities. Not only, of course, if you start with some ancient days, we can go back to the some decades back. Okay, of course, whatever the structures they were constructed on those days, of course, everything is planned. Yes or no? Then only we can make that structure into a infrastructure. There is a lot of difference between structure and infrastructure. If you construct anything, it's become a structure. But if you want to say that structure should be infrastructure, it must satisfy the basic requirements. It must fulfill some requirement which is beyond the basics, I can say, or preliminary work involvement, I can say. Okay, that's why construction planning in construction will play a major role. Okay, in one line I can say the introduction part of this construction planning is nothing but during the construction process, before going to execute any project or before going to start with any particular project, being a manager or being a civil engineer, we should prepare the plan for that, how the work will going to execute, what are all the things I need to incorporate at the time of execution. That every process, entire thing we are going to incorporate at the time of execution of the project or before going to execute the project, that process we can call it as construction planning. Then next, coming to the objectives. Of course, we have planned everything, the construction is going to run in a smooth direction, but what are the objectives it has to satisfy, or what all the aims are there in construction planning? That is also going to play a major role. For every aspects, for every activities, there should be some objectives. Before having or without having any objectives, we should not supposed to start any project. Yes or no? In our day-to-day activities, with both entire 24 hours, if you divide it into number of schedules, of course, it has to satisfy the basic requirements. Yes or no? So my work has to be started like this. My work has to be end up with like this. In between, I have to take or I have to fulfill these requirements. These are all the plannings we are going to done at the initial stage before going to start or wake up at the time, I can say, or before going to start your project or activities in our day-to-day activities, I can say. Okay. At the same time, what all the basic objectives are there? If we have a planning in your construction activities, automatically the first one I can say it as it will in turn reduce the human efforts in effective manner, I can say. But reduction in efforts is not a major task. We need to reduce the human efforts as much as possible, so that whatever the efforts we are going to put on that particular activity, it should be a worthy, I can say. Yes or no? It should not supposed to waste. Yes or no? When the work is not going to be waste, if we have planned it properly. For example, if we have planned to construct a building, okay, nearby our locality, I can say, of course, first we have to prepare the plans. What should be the plan, elevation, cross sections, entire thing we have prepared very well. Then we have started with procurement of materials. Then where are we going to procure the materials? Yes or no? Because what the mode of transportation I need to prefer to carry the materials from one place to another place. That's also very, very important role, I can say. Then once you are going to store the materials, it has to be for the longer durations of 6 months or 1 month or 3 months, depends upon the nature of work. So throughout the entire 3 months, we have to maintain. Storing is also one of the technique in construction fields. So in that conditions, if you planned it properly, then definitely it will meet your first objective. That is, it will in turn minimize the efforts of human beings. It might be manpower, it might be money, it might be materials, it might be miscellaneous items which are in turn involved in our activities. Everything is going to be planned in a proper way, so that I can achieve effective utilization of manpower. That's also one of the objectives of construction planning, I can say, or planning in construction, I can say. Then the second one, it will in turn give you a clear picture about the cost of that project. If you have planned properly, then we have enough grip on the money flow. Yes, that's also one of the objective of your construction planning, I can say. Then the second one is, we can have orderly development of a construction activities. Okay, what should be the start date of my project? What should be the end date of my project? Within that, what are all the activities I need to concentrate? If any dependent activities are there, how to start simultaneously? If some activities are going to start with separate, they are of course independent with each other, then what should be my bar charts or Gantt chart? That entire thing is once again will give you the aim of this construction planning. Okay, so in continuation with that, once again, the next objective, it will of course it is going to meet with the planning in construction is, it will in turn give you the better ideas. Yes or no? If someone, for example, if we have some work breakdown structure in our department or in our systems, so the higher authority will in turn assign you some activities. Yes, these are all the things to be done like this. Okay, so the next level officers, that he will in turn create his own methodology, how to finish the task, or what all the other divisions are there which are get involved in that activities. Everything that he is going to plan the things. Okay, then he will come to know, because in our higher level they have just suggested you what all the things to be done, but how the things are going to be carried out, that is not a easy task. We have to plan it. We have to execute. At the time of execution, once again we may come across so many difficulties. Of course, we have planned it properly, but at the time of construction activities, we may or we may not going to achieve in the same manner. For example, if I decided to go ahead with the earthwork excavation today, so tomorrow I have to start with my construction of footings details, I can say, or pouring of concrete to at the footing level, I can say. But fortunately, at the time of preparing a plan or at the time of preparation of a planning, I have not at all come across any major difficulties I can come across at the time of earthwork excavation. But inside, in application point of view, at the time of excavation, I met with a waterlogged area, or I met with some water table get increased in that footing level. Yes or no? And at the same time, we should not supposed to avoid that particular situation. We need to overcome. We need to do some dewatering process, or we need to do some other waterproofing activities over there to proceed with the next work. So that type of difficulties we have not at all planned. That's why planning will also depends on how we are going to execute it. So These are all the practical problems we may come across in our day-to-day act, not only in civil engineering I can say, even you can take in any disciplinaries of your work. Of course, we must come across these types of difficulties. We need to overcome, because once we have a clear idea about how the construction planning takes place, if you met with any such difficulties, then we have one more better solution, one more idea we have in our mind, that comes from construction planning. That's nothing but the one more objective is it will in turn clearly give you the alternate solutions for the execution of a project. That is also one of the main aim of, or objective of your construction project I can say. Okay, then we can expect a very good establishment cell or very good establishment system in our entire industry if we have this planning in construction in a very well manner. Okay, so these are the different objectives we may come across construction planning. Okay, then the next part says something about the project plans. Of course, the name itself says project plans. Of course, we have come across the plannings. Okay, so what all the plannings are to be takes place, how the different types of plannings are there, that part we have discussed in detail. But what about the project plans? That project plan is different than that of the planning. Are you getting my point? Planning is nothing but it's the process, whereas project plans are nothing but what about the different classifications or different types of project plans are there at the time of executing the project. So these three parameters are completely concerned with the project oriented I can say. Okay, with respect to a project orientation, the project plans are broadly classified into three categories. One is project conceptual plan, then project preliminary plan, and third one is project detailed plan. Now we will discuss one by one in detail. Okay, so what is this project conceptual plan? Right, so the name itself says project conceptual. Here this is the initial step of plan. Right, for example, I will take one example. Okay, for example, we have a mobile manufacturing industry, let us say, yes. So I have to launch one new mobile phone to industry right now. Okay, but before that, before going to start with the production, of course, first I need to decide the features of those mobiles, yes or no. So what are all the mobiles I am going to launch for the next upcoming days? First I need to have clear idea, clear vision, how the mobile should be. What are all the features to be get involved? Everything I need to decide at its initial stage. Before going to start with the production or before going to start with the manufacturing, first I need to start up with the clear ideas. That development of an idea with respect to the production of that particular object is nothing but your conceptual. We have not at all stored in anything else or anywhere else I can say. Just we have planned it in such a way that yes, these are all the things to get involved in that activities, in that development of product. It might be a development of solid blocks I can say, it might be of development of steel sheets I can say, it might be a development of cement, yes or no. So everything before going to start with the production, first being a project manager, we need to think about what should be the conceptual plan, how it look like, yes or no. It might be, there might be some experimental investigations are there for to get the conceptual plan, or we have some live experimental or some analytical approaches to have modeling. Okay, by using some softwares we can decide what should be the prototype of that product. So everything should be done at its initial stage. Therefore, that project is formulated in a conceptualized mind. That is in terms of some soft copies I can say. For example, if you are before going to start constructing your house, we are going to prepare a plan in some AutoCAD or other softwares. We are going to plan the things. That is called conceptual plan. That indicates before going to start with any project, if we have developed some ideas behind that, what are all the things to be added, what are all the things should not be added, or what are all the type of concepts we are going to involve in that particular activity, that entire thing what you are going to decide a back screen of that particular execution of the project, that process we can call it as project conceptual plan. It is completely a clear idea. No such hard copies. We have prepared. It might be of some software oriented, it might be some modeling process I can say. Okay, only at that particular stage, if your project is going to execute, that we are treated it as project conceptual plan. And one single element I can say, for example, best is I can take an example of n number throughout the activities with respect to some organizations or some institutions or some industries I can say, but best example is construction of house. Yes, or construction of building. Before going to execute or before going to start with a project, being a civil engineer, he is going to prepare the plan, how the building look like. after the construction. That process we can call it as project conceptual plan. Okay. The next one is a project preliminary plan. Once the concept is get ready, yes, of course, we are going to decide. For example, if I am interested to go ahead with the construction of 2 BHK residential building, first I have in my mind, so what should be the conceptual plan, how the building look like. So everything I have decided. Okay. So yes, I have prepared one plan, then I have made some alternatives within that, and finally I have approved one plan. Yes, this would be my building. Then at the time of execution, we need to collect some preliminary data, preliminary investigations. Yes or no? That type of projects are getting involved in project preliminary plans. Preliminary is nothing but before going to execute. Exactly. Conceptual, that preliminary plan is the second stage of conceptual plan, I can say. Okay. Once we have 10 plans in our mind, out of 10 we need to sort out into 1 or 2 number of at its final stage. Within that 1 or 2 or the final one, we are going to have some what you can say modifications within that. Some modern touch towards that particular project. That types of projects are comes under project preliminary plans. Okay. In that we are going to concentrate on some preliminary investigation on that. We are going to do some experimental investigations on that. We are going to collect some basic informations on that. On that basis, we are going to do some slight modifications within that project, and we are going to start executing that particular project. So that type of activities we can call it as preliminary plans. And the third one says something about the project detailed plan. The name itself says detailed. Here we are going to do in detail investigation about how the plan or how your project should be executed. Okay. So what are all the data to be required, what are all the things are there to be done. Okay. So how the process should be takes place in a smooth direction. What about the cost comparison techniques on that? What should be the labors get involved in that activities? What about the material classifications, characteristics, specifications? Everything is maintained in a smooth and clear manner, with a transparent manner. That type of project plans are treated as the project detailed plans. In that, we are going to do in detail investigation on that particular each and every object. We are going to be fulfilled by the third stage, that is project detailed plans. Okay. So these are all the different project plans, right. Then once the project planning is done in a proper way, okay, planning is done, projects are divided into certain categories, etc., etc. We have collected all the basic information regarding the execution of a project, as everything is done. What about the next stage? That is scheduling. Yes. So the simple definitions regarding scheduling is, it is the process, scheduling is a mechanical process which involved the activities of that particular project start from, from starting point to end point. Yes. So scheduling is nothing but it's a mechanical process which in turn involves the activities of starting point to the end point of that particular project, how we are going to fulfill it or how the flow takes place. Okay. If the flow diagram we have maintained in a clear mentioned parameter or clearly mentioned things get to be done, it might be of hard copy, soft copy, or it might be of some modeling, I can say. It might be in terms of charts you are going to prepare. This entire thing of preparing the flow of work from starting to ending is called scheduling. Yes. For example, preparation of timetable, it's nothing but scheduling. Yes. Then preparation of bar chart or Gantt chart for the construction of a building is nothing but scheduling. Yes. So giving the wages or the nature of works to be allotted to labor for first day to 30th day, that is 1 month duration, that is called scheduling. Yes. So within the 24 hours, if for example, if you are going to conduct one activities or event within the organization, yes, the program is of around 3 to 4 hours program. Okay. So within that 3-4 hours program, we are going to list out what are all the things to be done. What about the inauguration process? What about the consumption of time for that particular activity? Then what should be the guest speakers presentations? What should be the launching of that particular activity? So everything we have planned in a stepped manner. It might be like a flow chart. So you have allotted each duration of the activities. Okay. This process is nothing but scheduling. We can give you n number of examples in scheduling process, I can say. Okay. So scheduling is simply, it's a mechanical process, please concentrate here. It's a mechanical process because it involves some activities from the men or from the human being, I can say. Yes or no? It should not be get it done in somewhere else or anything else. Okay, you have to sit properly and we have to work out the things in a better manner by chalk outing the things to be done with the same time consuming with the minimum efforts, I can say. Okay, that process we can call it as scheduling. Okay, so in that, of course, we have discussed regarding the introductory part, what is scheduling, right? Then coming to the advantages of scheduling. If we have scheduled in a proper way, then what are all the advantages we can expect from this scheduling? Yes, the objectives, of course, the name itself says scheduling is nothing but if you planned properly from starting point to the end point of activity, definitely can I achieve cost should be at a minimum level, I can say. Yes, because if I have scheduling part in detail manner or in depth, I can say, so I can have enough control on the money which flow towards the execution of the project or execution of that particular program. Yes, we can have enough grip on investment of money or economic criteria, I can say. Then we can have enough grip on human efforts if you plan it or if you scheduled it properly. Yes, we can have, that is also one of the advantages, I can say. We can quote n number of advantages like this, generalized concepts, I can say, but we need to give some technical supports to those examples. Yes or no? So we can have enough control on manpower, I can say, that is human efforts. Yes, that's nothing but your labor's requirement. I can plan in a proper manner if we have done scheduling process in detail. Yes or no? Then we can have enough control over the materials get invested on that particular activity. Yes, if something is going to waste at that particular stage, of course, being a scheduler, I am going to minimize. Yes, this is the stage we can minimize the consumption of materials, so that I can invest those materials in somewhere else, so that I can have effective development of that project. That's also one of the advantages, I can say. Okay, and once the scheduling is done, we will come to know where the project will going to lag, or where the project will going to move in a faster manner, in a rapid manner. Yes, sir, because once the scheduling is done in a proper way, we should not supposed to lag the things. Yes, particular time or particular project or sub project is taking too much of time, that means at some point we have failed to execute it. Yes or no? If it's going to happen something like that, then we can have enough control on that particular stage. Yes, I can minimize the things to be done in a better manner. So we will in turn have alternate solution to finish the project. Yes or no? So that's also one of the advantage of your scheduling, I can say. Of course, the construction planning and scheduling, they are interrelated with each other. If one thing is get in a proper way, get it done in a better manner, automatically the next one will going to start with a smooth manner, I can say. Once it get disturbed, automatically the next point will be going to be affected by some percentage, I can say. Efficiency will going to reduce at some stage. Okay. Then coming to the third part of this scheduling is the types of schedules. What are the different types of schedules are there? Because we should not supposed to categorize these types in one group, I can say, because depends upon the manpower, the scheduling is done in separate way. Depends upon the materials requirement, the scheduling is done in separate way. Yes, so we should not supposed to combine those things, because consumption of material is differ than that of manpower supply, I can say. That's why by considering these parameters in mind, so the types of classifications of the scheduling is done in 5 categories. The first one is construction schedule, then material schedule, labor schedule, equipment schedule, expenditure schedule. Now we will discuss one by, of course, by observing their nature of work, we can decide their types. I can say types of schedulings depends upon the nature of work, I can say, or depends upon the consumption of materials, or depends upon the activity get involved in that particular project. Okay. So the first one says something about construction schedule. The name itself says construction schedule. Schedule means what? It's a mechanical process which involves starting point of project to ending point of project, how the flow takes place. If we have clearly mentioned that start of project to the end of the project, then yes, your scheduling is done in a proper way. That scheduling is with respect to construction. Construction scheduling is nothing but we are going to decide what is the starting point of that construction and what should be the ending point of that particular construction. If you have clear mind regarding the construction activities, then the process is called construction schedule. Within that, there are n number of activities may come across. Yes or no? There are n number of activities will come across, n number of events will get come across, n number of programs get come across. Within that program, we have some subheadings are there. Yes or no? Because now we will simply quote one example. Yes, erection of a columns. Yes, this is one main head I can say. Main nature of work. Erection of column is my one sub project I can say. But within that erection of columns, there are so many other dependent activities are there going to done. Yes or no? If those things are get done in a proper way, then only yes, the erection of column project is done. Then we need to go ahead with the slab casting. Yes or no? Reinforcement for slabs, that is one project. But within that, there are n number of activities get involved. Similarly, in construction, what are all the detailing parts are there get involved? Those detailing parts are to be done in a proper way, in a scheduled manner. Yes or no? For example, if you are going to pour the concrete, before that first we need to go ahead with the centering. We have to go ahead with the shuttering process. Centering has to be done proper way, shuttering has to be done proper way. Then we need to go ahead with check the levels of that entire platform should be at tube level. There should be no any undulations. There should no any gaps. We need to fill up those gaps. We need to apply some grease or oil on the topmost surface so that there is no any sticky takes place after construction of or after pouring of concrete. These are all the activities of different time requirement I can say. These are the things are not done simultaneously. Yes or no? So they are having some time consumption parameters on that. So we need to divide these subheadings in a proper way. Then only we can achieve, yes, the slab casting process is done in a proper manner, according to scheduled manner. That type of activities we can call it as construction schedules, right? So the in detail investigations with respect to construction activities is treated as construction schedules. We can quote n number of examples as we discussed earlier. Okay. Then the second one says something about material schedules. See here, we are specific now. Yes or no? So we are completely discussing about materials. So what are all the materials get involved? Yes, consumption of food. Of course, that's also a very important thing. Yes or no? We should not supposed to waste it. We have to plan it. What should be the requirement or consumption per month, per day? Yes or no? Depends upon that. We are going to list out what should be the procurement of materials for our day-to-day activities. For household activities, we are going to do the scheduling. Yes or no? Consumption of water. For example, if we have one township or one layout, we are going to prepare. We are going to plan what should be the population for next 1 decade, 2 decades, 3 decades. So on that basis, we are going to decide what should be the consumption of water per day per person. On that basis, we are going to construct overhead tank. No? Yes or no? So that is specifically we are going to discuss something about materials. Yes, what about the consumption? With respect to the consumptions, we are going to decide the start of that event, end of that event, how the consumption takes place, how the material should be get procured, cement, how the cement is going to procure, how they are going to be get stored. Yes, because cement is, if it exposed to atmosphere, it starts setting. Yes or no? Then steel, if it exposed to atmosphere, it starts corrosion. That's why storing those materials is also one of the techniques get involved in your construction activities. So if we are specific about the materials, how the storage, procurement, usage, consumptions, okay, everything is done in a proper way, is done in a clearly mentioned flow chart, that type of scheduling is treated as material scheduling. Once again, I can quote some examples on that. Okay, procurement of bricks or storage of cement, they all comes under material scheduling I can say. Okay. Then the third one says something about labor schedules. See here, now even we are more specific here. Yes or no? So how the labors are going to be work in site. Okay. So off the site, what all the responsibility should be given to that particular labor. Yes. Whether that labor is of daily wages, whether he is of monthly basis, whether we are going to pay it for a project basis, whether we are going to take the labors for a percentage contract basis, depends. In each and every aspects, the wages are going to be different than that of the different, other one I can say. Yes or no? So we are going to be more specific about how the recruitment of labors takes place. On what basis we are going to recruit the laborers, how many number of laborers are required for that particular activity, everything should be planned. If the requirement of flooring for fixation of these tiles for this flooring area, so it requires 2 days, 2 laborers are required, then why we are going to recruit 10 laborers? Yes or no? Because the duration of the project is of 2 days, requirement is only 2 numbers, we have to stick on to the number of, if you are going to minimize the number of days or the duration required to finish the task, then there is a chance of getting maximum number of laborers. Yes or no? If one person if you are allotted for that particular activity, definitely he will take 2 days to finish the project. If you recruit 4 members in single day, within the half day they are going to finish the project. Yes or no? So, this type of activities get involved in your labor scheduling. With respect to labor's activities, if you decide what should be the starting, what should be the end, what should be the wages should be given, what should be the nature of works to be allotted to each labor, that entire thing if you done in a proper way, there comes under labor scheduling. Okay? Then the next, fourth one says something about equipment schedules. Yes or no? See, even we are going to be specific with respect to construction activities here. Yes or no? So, equipments, for example, because all the works are not done by manual means, I can say, because nowadays, because in ancient days, we don't have any such huge equipments, huge tools and plants. Of course, in a modern technology, we have n number of modern techniques, modern tools, modern usage of materials. Yes, so everything is highly technologically advanced, I can say. But in those days, we don't have any manual, what you can say, modern equipments. But manually we need to do the things. But manpower, of course, human beings are having some limitations. He should not supposed to work 24 hours. Yes or no? We have some limitations on that. 8 hours, 10 hours maximum, the human beings can work. Yes or no? If the 8 hours work we are going to allot, of course, it requires 1 month to finish that particular task. Yes, sir. To overcome these problems, these modern equipments will play a major role. Of course, they are going to do 24/7, they are going to work, not taking a single break. We can take work from those materials or those equipments. And at the same time, being a manager, being a civil engineer, we should keep these things in mind, how the equipments are to be going to be executed or going to be used in site. We should not supposed to simply park it at somewhere else, because we need to pay hourly basis. Yes or no? Even if the materials is going to be stay for a duration of 1 hour, we need to pay the money for that particular equipment or tools and plants, I can say. Yes or no? So, that is why being a civil engineer, we should decide the type of equipments required for that particular activity and their time limits and their working principles, everything should be done in a proper manner. Then only we can have the beautiful execution of a project. That is with respect to equipment, I can say. Then the last one says something about expenditure schedules. Of course, that is very important thing, and that should be very specific in nature, and that will in turn play a major role to all these 4 scheduling process, I can say. Because expenditure, of course, to start with the construction, to bring out the materials, to hire the laborers or to hire the equipments, yes, we have expenditure. We have economic criteria in our mind. That is why expenditure scheduling is nothing but scheduling is done with respect to the money flow, with respect to the economic criteria, how the material, the cost of that project going to be end up with consuming of so and so rupees, or in terms of dollars, I can say. Okay. So, what is the start of the project? What should be the end of the project? So, within that start and end, so what about the money will going to flow towards the procurement of materials, towards the wages to laborers, towards the salary to employees? Everything should be done in a proper way. Then only we can have, yes, the project is completed in proper manner. And of course, in nowadays modern technology, in modern usage, these all 5 types of schedules are going to play a major role in one single activities. Of course, if you take a huge construction of a mega structure, yes, all these 5 schedulings are done in simultaneously. Okay, with assigning different manpower supplies, they are going to done their own work. Okay, some are allotted to construction wings, they are going to prepare construction schedules. Some are allotted to procurement of materials as a quality control and quantity surveyors. They are going to do related to materials, related to laborers. We have laborers contract. That field is separate. All are working towards the same principle. All are working towards the same aim, same objectives. Yes, we have to finish the task or project in a beautiful manner, in an economic manner, and it should be look good. That is the main motto behind construction planning or construction planning and scheduling, I can say. Okay. Then the last bit of this construction planning and scheduling theory part is going to discuss something about the work breakdown structures. The name itself says, what does it mean by work breakdown structure? Simply we can call it as WBS systems. Okay. So work breakdown structure is nothing but we are going to divide, because a system is a huge in nature. If I consider one small scale industry, that by observation it is a small scale industry, but within that industry there are so many activities are going to run simultaneously. Some activities are dependent with each other, some activities are independent with each other, some activities are depends on the predecessor, some activities are depends on the successors, and like this with the flow will going to take place. Then being a manager, he will in turn divides that entire structures into different split up cells, or we need to break that particular structure into different stages. That is called work breakdown structure. Okay. For example, construction of a college is one task. Yes or no? That construction of college is one task, but within that construction of college or construction of an institute, we have n number of subheadings within that. Yes or no? First we need to have a foundation. Yes. We need to do the mark-outing process, then we need to go ahead with excavation of earth, then we need to trim out that entire trenches, we need to make it level, we need to make it sharp, vertically they must be of same line, it should be a plumb line I can say, and we need to remove the debris matters away from the site. Entire things get done. Yes, now the foundation process is clear. After doing foundation, we are going to start with bed concrete foundation. That also will require so many other activities I can say. Okay. After that we have to wait for some duration because it has to set. On above we are going to construct with SSM in foundations or BBM in foundations and footings. Yes sir. So these works are dependent with each other and they are going to be going to consume some times. Yes or no? So like this, dividing the entire building into superstructure, substructure, within substructure we have some categories. Within the superstructure we have some categories. It might be erection of burnt brick masonry in superstructure, then we have erection of beams, columns, slabs, plastering process, painting process, flooring process, pointing, painting, distempering, whitewashing. These are all the different activities get involved in superstructure only. Yes or no? So once we divide these types of individual activities into the breakdown structure, okay. So that figure shows how the breakdown structure for that particular building. Thank you.